Welcome to the Effortless English Show with the world's #1 English teacher, AJ Hogue, where AJ's more than 40 million students worldwide finally learn English once and for all, without the boring textbooks, classrooms, and grammar drills. Here's AJ with a quick piece to help you learn to speak fluent English effortlessly.
I'm AJ Hogue, the author of Effortless English, Learn to Speak English Like a Native, and the father of the Effortless English system that trains you, that teaches you to speak English fluently, to speak English powerfully, to speak English effortlessly. When you train with my VIP program, you commit, you don't quit, you commit to my VIP program. Go to effortlessenglishclub.com, effortlessenglishclub.com, and join, commit, don't quit. My VIP program, effortlessenglishclub.com. Having some difficulty with babies today. So I have a baby right here that's hopefully going to stay quiet for a little while. But I'm just going to skip saying hello today and jump right in Brave New World Chapter 1. Okay? Because I don't know, we might have to end the show very quickly if this baby starts going crazy. Yeah, and they've been a little crazy today, these babies. All right, so let's start. Brave New World. I'm just going to start with a summarizing, going through Chapter 1, just to discuss what's in Chapter 1. All right, Chapter 1 is a tour. Chapter 1 is a tour of a hatchery and conditioning center. Now, this is in London. It's set in London. It's in the future. I don't know if there's an actual date. So far, we don't see any dates. It's just the future, okay? It's a hatchery and conditioning. Hatchery is where usually we use this for chickens, right? For when you have an egg and then they put the eggs under like a warm light so that the little baby chickens come out. That's a hatchery. We call that to hatch. When an animal comes out of an egg, it's called to hatch. So a hatchery is a place where chickens, usually it's chickens, are hatched, where they're born. And then conditioning means to kind of like to program. It comes from psychology. To condition a person, to condition an animal is to train them or program them. So conditioning center. So this is a center where something is hatched, right? So some kind of animal is hatched, a new life, and it's also trained. And of course, we quickly find out it's human beings. This is a center where human beings are conditioned and hatched. Right away, you might think of that scene in The Matrix where Neo wakes up and he looks around and there's all these humans in these little pods, like in a big wall. They're all being kind of raised by machines. So then we start, and it's a tour. We're going on a tour. And there's the director of the center is giving a tour to students. So we're kind of following along, as the audience. We are following along on the tour as the director explains what's happening in this center. So the first place they go is the fertilizing room. They go to a room. It's the fertilizing room. So to fertilize means... we had this with our gardening vocab, right? To fertilize. It means to do something, add something so that life will grow. With plants, you add chemicals or you can add poop or stuff like that. But when we talk about animals, fertilizing animals, it means, right, there's an egg and a sperm, right, to make a human. So to fertilize means the sperm goes into the egg. Then it's a fertilized egg. It means it's an egg ready to become a human, ready to become life. All right, so then as he's doing the tour, the director's doing the tour. As he does this, some students ask questions. And he's kind of lecturing them, talking to them, explaining things. So he says, I'm going to give you a general idea about this place. And he says this is a luxury because usually the students do not learn general ideas. the students do not learn the big picture, right? He says that particulars, everyone knows that particulars create virtue and happiness. Generalities are intellectually necessary evils. It's not philosophers, but fret sawyers and stamp collectors compose the backbone of society. All right, now this is a very old British way of writing, but here, let me explain what that means. He's saying that specialization, just focusing on a small area of knowledge, that is the key to happiness. But being aware of general, like big questions, the big picture, that is only a necessary evil. Only a few people should do that. Most people should just focus on a tiny little part of life and not think about everything else. So again, you understand, right, what's happening. This is, he's giving the explanation of mind control, controlling a society. Because we'll see as we go through the rest of this chapter that starting before birth, they are already controlling the humans. They're already controlling even just the eggs. Before they're even babies, they're controlling them and doing things to them to control who they will become, who they will be, so they will be easy to control in society, conditioning them from before birth. All right, so then he keeps going on the tour. Next, they go to the incubators. So after fertilizing, in the incubators, the eggs grow. So an incubator is a place where life grows. It's usually basically like a warm little box. It's a warm little box where new life grows. So for example, actually my babies, when they were in the hospital, they were in incubators, little plastic boxes that were warm, and they put them in there because it helps the babies be safe from diseases, and it's like a perfect controlled temperature, a perfect controlled environment. So it helps them grow. So this is the next part of this laboratory, this factory, is that after the eggs, the human eggs, they have all these eggs, they're fertilized, they're ready to become humans. Well, now they have to grow them. So they move them to the incubators, and this is where they start to grow the eggs, the new eggs. And they explain a lot of the technical things. We don't need to worry about that. It's not important, the technical details. What's important is the general ideas. And here's the general idea. They have a system. They use Greek letters: alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon. So A, B, C, D, E in English, okay? Of people. They classify their whole society. All people are in this category: alpha, beta, gamma, delta, or epsilon. A, B, G, actually, D, E. It's the Greek letters. So the alphas are the top, the people who rule, who are have the power, who the most control, the most power in the society. And the epsilons are at the bottom. They do all the terrible work, the hard work. It's like a caste system. They call it that later. So they have to create, they by design, they need to create eggs and babies in each category, right? So they decide, like, okay, this egg will become an alpha, one of the top leaders, and this egg will become an epsilon. It will become one of the bottom people. And then they explain the process, Bokanovsky process. That it's just it doesn't matter that name. It's just some name. But what they do basically is they take one egg and they do bad stuff to it. They put alcohol into it. They do all kinds of things to shock it. And when they shock it, they say it buds. It means it becomes more than one. And again, the technical details are not important. That's kind of the science fiction part. But the important part is they create 50 or 60 or 80 identical twins. So they're all exactly the same. So they want 80 or 90 identical twins, all exactly the same, look exactly the same. And why? He explains this is a major instrument of social stability, social control. And he says 96 identical twins working 96 identical machines. So 96 identical twins, people doing the exact same jobs in society, like machines. And he explains this is the principle of mass production finally applied to biology. So it's taking the same idea of producing a car in a factory or making anything in a factory and now doing it with human beings. So they have total control over the production of humans. And they can create the exact same humans and 90 of the exact same humans, and then they train them in the exact same way, they control them in the same way, they program them in the same way, so they will then do the exact same jobs, like robots or machines. Okay, then they continue the tour, going around. As they continue the tour, they pass an area which has like kind of computers and things. And he says there are 88 cubic meters of card index. Now, he wrote this before computers. Card index is an old way they would keep information. It says containing all the relevant information. So basically what he's saying is they keep all the detailed information on every baby. On every human, they have a huge amount of information that they keep. So they have like a database, right? Now, of course, we would use computers. This is what Facebook is, gathering information about you, all your information, when you were born, how many kids you have, where you went to school, what do you like, what are your hobbies, how much money do you make? All of these things, gathering this information and then selling it, sharing it with governments and other companies. So there are huge, huge, huge files of information on you. This is something that has already happened from this book. Then he talks about the predestinators, predestined. Predestined means kind of like something that will happen definitely, cannot be avoided. It's predestined. It's like inevitable, similar, not the same, but similar. So basically, they're saying they have total control over the babies. The babies have no free will anymore. They have no choice. From the beginning, from before they are born, they are already controlled and programmed. They already decide what job they will have. They'll already decide if they'll be intelligent or not. Because then he talks about how for most of the babies, most of the eggs, most of the babies, they actually harm them. They hurt them in some way because they don't want them to be intelligent. They want them to be kind of stupid. They also don't want too many women. They don't want men and women to have sex and have babies naturally. They don't want that. They want it all controlled in the laboratory, like a factory. So what they do is he says, we have 30% of female embryos develop normally. The others get a dose of male sex hormone for the rest of the course. They're decanted as free martins. This is slang, sci-fi slang, but sterile. So basically transgenders. They create transgenders. They don't want too many women out in society that can have babies. Then they lose control, right? If women can have babies independently by themselves, that's no good for them. They can't, then the powerful people can't control it. So they make it so the females cannot. Sterile means cannot have babies. So they make most of the females are sterile. They can't have babies. And they're almost like transgenders. Isn't that interesting? He predicted that. Then we predestine and condition. In other words, we decide before, predestine to decide before, and condition to train, to program. We decant, so they're not giving birth because they're not inside of a woman, right? They're just in a factory. Decant means like to take something out of a jar, out of a bottle. So they come out of a bottle, the babies. And they come out as socialized human beings, as alphas or epsilons, as future sewage workers or future world controllers. So they decide all of this at the moment of birth. It's already decided. Will they be a great leader at the top? Will they be at the bottom doing terrible, hard, terrible jobs? It's all programmed and decided before birth. So next, a student asks a question. Well, why do you do this? Why do you want the embryo below par? Embryo is a small baby, right before it's born. Below par means, below average, below normal. So he's basically saying, why do you want them to be stupid? Why do you do things to make the babies stupid? And he says that they must have this in order to do their job, for society to be stable. Society won't be stable if we have too many intelligent people. Also predicted. So what they do is they remove oxygen. They starve oxygen. They give less oxygen to these babies when they're before born, and this makes them more stupid. He says, in epsilons, they're the lowest group. They want them to be the most stupid. We don't need human intelligence for epsilons. So they don't want them to be intelligent. The alphas, the guys at the top, the powerful, right? They probably let them become intelligent, fully intelligent, and then each level, little less intelligent. They want them. All right, then they basically continue the tour. They go into another room where the babies are getting bigger, still growing. And then he gives a nice summary of their philosophy. This is the philosophy of Brave New World, the controllers of the world. The secret to happiness and virtue, interesting, is liking what you've got to do. All our programming the goal is making people like their unescapable social destiny. This is very important. This is Aldous Huxley telling us what the powerful are doing to us and what they want. This is what they want. And indeed, I think they have succeeded already. Not 100%, but 80%. They've already succeeded in this. Make people like their unescapable social destiny. I'll say it an easier way. Make people like their slavery. Make people like their slavery. Make them like it. How do you do that? By programming them and conditioning them, programming them from a very young age. From a very, very, very young age. Program them, and then they will be good little worker slaves, and they'll like it. They'll like it. Already happened. And that's the end of the tour. Then they say, okay, now time to go. They're going to go look at the children's room because, of course, in this world, parents do not raise children. The parents don't have power. It's, again, the government that has the power. The government creates the children like a factory, and then the government raises them. Also predicted. Let's talk very quickly about some of these things because they're very important ideas. Idea number one, this is true. He's telling us the truth. This is not sci-fi. Number one, the powerful, the elite, the Rothschilds, the Soroses, the Warburgs, the Pesors, all those guys at the top, and maybe higher than that. I don't know. And then their little servants in government and CEOs. What do they want? Number one, they want to control humans from the youngest possible age. They want total control. This is why it's called totalitarian. They want total control over you and me and every human being. Total power, total control. Now, we saw this in Orwell in Animal Farm, 1984 also. But in Orwell in 1984, they use more direct power and fear to control people. Right? Like Napoleon the pig. He used violence, he used fear to control the other animals, and lies, lots of propaganda. Well, here, they have a different idea. They don't want to use fear. They want people to love their slavery in Brave New World. So they don't want them to even think they're slaves. They don't want them to be aware that they are controlled at all. They want them to think they are free. See, the animals in Animal Farm, they knew, right? They knew, they saw Napoleon and the dogs killing the animals. So they could see what was happening. They pretended maybe they didn't, but they kind of knew. But in this world, in Brave New World, most people have no idea. They just think this is normal. They have no idea they have been controlled. They have no idea they have been programmed. It's like The Matrix. Can you see this? It's just like the movie The Matrix. In the beginning of the movie, Neo and all the other people, they have no idea. They're living in a prison for their mind. They're all programmed and controlled. It's all lies, but they have no idea. They can't see it because they are so programmed, they don't even realize it. This is the goal. This is what, now, this is a little sci-fi right now because they're using like a factory, but this is what the elites want. We'll call them the elites. We'll call them the masters of the world, whatever. They actually do want this. They want to control birth. This is one of their goals. They have not achieved it yet, but they are trying step by step to destroy families. They want to take all power away from moms and dads, away from parents. They want the government to raise your children. This is why school starts so early now. It was first grade, now kindergarten. Then what came after kindergarten? Preschool. Younger and younger and younger. They want your children in that system. Now it's like they try to get 3-year-old children into some kind of school. And they say it's just for fun. And look, they just play games and paint. But no, the reason is they want to get your children early. So they don't even know they're being programmed. They have no idea. They have no chance to resist the programming. So when they become adults, finally, they are programmed to be good little workers. They are programmed to believe the media. They are programmed to do what they are told. They're good little slaves, and they like it. They like it. So this is the vision in Brave New World. And indeed, this is the vision of our world now. We are living in this world right now. Okay, maybe a few science fiction details we don't have yet. Okay, but have families been destroyed? They have. Look at the divorce rate, the massive number of divorces, over 50% in many, many countries. Look at many countries, you cannot homeschool your own child. You cannot teach your own child. The government will raise your children. Of course, we have a media system that is also programming. And we can see, just like The Matrix, just like this book, most people have no idea. They have no idea they were programmed with all these lies, with all this programming. They have no idea they were programmed from childhood. That most of what you learned in school were lies. Yeah, a few true things like math or something, but mostly lies. Mostly, more importantly than lies, mostly it was programming. So this is it. This is the vision, and indeed, it is mostly true. I would say most of Brave New World is true now. Most people don't see it, right? Most people don't see it. If you tell most people, yeah, you're programmed, they'll say, you're crazy. If you tell people, schools are terrible just for programming, no, you're crazy. They're just like in The Matrix, the blue-pilled people. They can't see it. They have no idea. All right, let me just see if there's any other points I want to discuss, and then we'll go to questions and comments. Intelligence. That's the one last one I wanted to talk about. Indeed, we are seeing this too, that in the intelligence of our population is being pushed down. The average intelligence in America is dropping. The average intelligence in Europe is dropping. It's not an accident. It is designed. Chemicals in the water, chemicals in the food. Some say the vaccines have chemicals. All of these things. And most of all, the shitty food, the crap food, is making people more stupid. We can measure it. by average, intelligence is dropping quite fast. The average intelligence. Why? He said it right here. Well, smart people are harder to control. You don't want, well, we want, but they don't want a huge population of intelligent people because they're more dangerous, right? Maybe they will break the conditioning, break the control. Maybe they think for themselves. They're more independent. They want a population of stupid people. This is what a lot of aggressive, like open borders is about also, to destroy Europe and America and other countries. They want a huge population with low intelligence because they are very easy to control. They need only a few people at the top intelligent. The people at the very top, they want very intelligent. Then they need a group, government workers, people in the tops of corporations, companies. They need them to be, also fairly intelligent. But then most people, the average people, they do not want them to be intelligent, too dangerous. They want them to be stupid, and they are doing things with chemicals, with our food especially, with our medical system to make people more stupid, and with the policy too, the political policies and immigration policies. All these things are designed so that people who are intelligent don't have families, don't have so many babies, fewer babies for intelligent people, and stupid people have lots and lots and lots of babies. That's what they want. So they want a big population of stupid people and only a few intelligent people they can control. Again, it's not science fiction. It's here. It's already true. So that is just chapter 1. Already in chapter 1. Wow. We get a big, pretty terrible view. But the thing is, when he wrote it, it was science fiction. But Aldous Huxley, he knew this was the plan. And now we are, 80 years later, something like that, 80 years after he wrote it, 70, something like that. And a lot of it's already true. I would say most of the main ideas of Brave New World, that's our world now. We live in Brave New World. We are living right now in Brave New World. And they will continue. You see the transgender thing. He predicted the transgender thing. Why? Well, because transgenders don't have children and they destroy families. And they're also useful for, all kinds of, causing problems in society. So they encourage homosexuality. They encourage this transgender stuff. Why? Again, destroy families, prevent independent families. They do eventually. They absolutely do. This is not science fiction. They do want to control birth. First, they want to control raising the children. They're getting close. I mean, many people now, at 3 years old, they send their children to school or some kind of, strangers, some kind of group, some kind of school. 3 years old. They'll push for 2 years old and then 1 year old. They want to control your children from birth. After that, then they will try to control birth like a factory. They want factory. They want people to be machines for them. Only the people at the top will be free human beings that can think and choose. Everybody else, basically a programmed machine. This is their long, long, long plan, and they're very close to doing it. All right, let's go to questions and comments now. See what you all think of this. Fairly depressing, but this is this is a red pill right here. This is one big, terrible red pill. Only chapter 1. Wait till we get to the rest of the book. All right. I told you it was going to be a dark book. All right. I'm going to find questions about. Okay. Rafiko with a nice big comment. Interesting. It is believed that social strife now comes from conflict between classes. The solution they came up with is to homogenize, means make the same, the different social classes, biologically engineering them, then psychologically conditioning programming them to accept their place in life. The world controllers eliminate social classes that we know now. They have a caste system, right? It's like levels of humans, very strict. It feels familiar with the top 1% living in luxury and the rest slogging it out below. Exactly. It's the same idea, right? The same goal as George Orwell described. The very top 1% or less than 1% live amazing luxury lives. Everybody else is a slave. Yeah, Vladislav, great. One day I heard the phrase in Russian, the best slave is one who tells you, I'm not a slave. Yes, that's a great summary of what Huxley's talking about in Brave New World. This is they called the world controllers. I think that is what they're called in the book, something like that. But that's exactly their goal. Create slaves who think they're not slaves. This is like the perfect programming, for them, right? A slave that knows he's a slave or she's a slave, well, then maybe they might rebel. Maybe they want to run away. Maybe they won't work hard, right? Maybe they can do all kinds of things if they know they're a slave. But a slave that doesn't know that he's a slave, that thinks he's free, well, he won't do anything. He's no threat. He'll never do anything different. He'll never try to escape. He thinks he's already free. That's America right now. Right? And so Marcin, again, with a nice summary, the best method of manipulation is when the manipulated person or object doesn't realize that he is manipulated. Right? That's exactly right. Sagvan, you mean they're going to make our new generation as robots? Not really robots, but humans that act like robots. Not the new generation. It's already happened. Everybody is robots. Look around you. People just staring at their phones, walking around, programmed. It's already done. This is not sci-fi. This is not the future. It is done. They succeeded. Is there a way out of this nasty situation? Well, that is indeed a tough question. You've got to escape the matrix. I guess that movie kind of gave us an idea. You have to pull out of the matrix. This is why I push homeschooling so much. Don't put your children in school. You're just giving them to be programmed. So, for the long-term future, homeschooling, and then teach them at home to be intelligent, to think clearly, to have real virtue, not this fake stuff. Not to be programmed. To value family and their tradition. That's a big one, is homeschooling. It's why I am very, very forcefully, I believe homeschooling is one of the big ones. Another one is stop programming yourself. All media, all mass media, all the big media, it's nothing but programming. It's 100% programming. Just conditioning, what he's talking about. Every TV show, every movie, every newspaper, every newscast, it's all programming. Unplug. As adults, how do we get out of it? This is what the red pill means, okay? It means you get out of it. You get out of the matrix. You get out of the programming. It takes time, but the first step is to stop the programming. Turn all that junk off. Start reading very old books. All right, next. Fernando giving us some good news, and I agree. I believe people are waking up about this topic. Most people are seeing their lifestyles have to change. Yes, indeed. Online you might see the phrase, the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening. Awakening means to wake up. I agree. This is the more good news, okay? Because this is a depressing book, okay? It's dark. So, again, kind of connected to the last question, how do we get out of this? I believe people are waking up. I think a lot of people. Most people, no, but we don't need most people. The hard truth is most people are sheep, okay? Most people just follow. This will always be true. What's important is about 20%. If 20% wake up, everyone else will follow them. Right? If 20% wake up and fight against this, then lots of the sheep will just follow because that's what they do. So that's good news. Everyone does not need to wake up, okay? We don't need 100%. We need probably 20% red pilled and awake and fighting back. And I do believe, thankfully with the internet, an unintended, I think they did not plan for this to happen with the internet, but it happened anyway. And this is why they're censoring now. This is why YouTube and Facebook are banning and censoring and blocking so many channels now. And Twitter. And deleting accounts. Because they are terrified. They're afraid because so many people are waking up to this. They're realizing it. Around the world, this is international. Around the world, people are waking up. That's the good news. And that's why we're doing this book. Because I want to continue that waking up. Wake up. Faisal, exactly right, Faisal El Asri. They make stupid people become famous. That is exactly right. They do. This is part of programming too. Especially with all this reality TV now. Why are they doing that? Because they want you to look at these people, these famous people, and copy them. You, meaning most people, right? So they don't want intelligent, wonderful people as your role models, as your celebrities, because then you might follow that and you might try to become more intelligent and a better person and have a more meaningful life. No. They want to take stupid people like the Kardashians and make them famous and show them acting stupid all the time. And just greedy and stupid. And then, not everybody, we probably, us English people are quite intelligent. You see how bad that is. But a lot of people, millions and millions of people watch those shows and copy that behavior. And then this is also part of society becoming more stupid. It's not just genetic stupid. It's just in their actions, in their thinking, becoming stupid. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe their IQ, someone's IQ could be, 140, very high. But if they act stupid and they watch stupid shows and they copy stupid people, they will act stupid, even though they have the potential. They have the potential to be intelligent, but they don't use it. Instead, they're still stupid. This is the purpose of schools, to make everybody just kind of not totally stupid, but just kind of low intelligent. School does not teach high intelligence and deep thinking. It's just like he said, they want everybody the same. So they don't have the identical twins, 96 identical twins yet. What they do have is school is like a factory. School is a factory. Put 30 children in the same class. It's like a little factory, and then teach them all exactly the same thing at the same time. This is a factory system. And they want at the end they want them all to come out thinking the same, believing the same, all the same, like a factory, like a product. That's what the school system is. Jonathan, you're saying children in European or American, that the children is not yours. Well, China, Japan, most countries. That means that the parents can't control things. Well, I mean, it's not total yet, but in many ways. And different countries are worse. Like Germany is horrible. Germany's terrible. Homeschooling is illegal. They put people in jail for trying to teach their own children. Seems like the Nazis won in a way. They just became socialist, but not nationalists. Says John says in Arabian countries it's different. I saw myself. This does not mean it's less control. Children trying staying under parents and caring for the parents when they're old. Yeah, well, that's nice, but I'm not talking about that. I'm really talking about their mental training. I mean, in Arabian countries, don't you have a school system? Do parents send their children to school? You know, a government school or a private school where strangers teach them? I think that usually they do. Yes, Nasser says, conditioning before birth is deep and serious. We can know from society around us if we look carefully. How can we prevent that from happening, or at least fight back this evil? Well, exactly. See, the earlier conditioning gives them more power, right? If you're conditioned at age 20, then you remember being free. So there's a very good chance you might become free again. But if you are conditioned and programmed at age 1, you will not even remember it. You will think it's just you. You will think it's your natural personality. You won't even realize you were programmed. That's what he's describing, and that's what's happening with children's TV. Do never show Disney TV to your children. Turn that shit off. That is garbage conditioning crap. Little Disney for kids and baby Disney. That is crap. Turn it off. Never show that shit. But anyway, that's what they're trying to do. Younger is better for them because younger and younger, you have no chance. And again, the solution, homeschool and turn off the TV. And don't let your children watch TV. Don't let them watch TV. Don't take them to Disney movies. Don't show that shit to them. Lisa with a nice summary. Huxley sees a similarity in the production of humans and the production of consumer goods, of products. Yeah, that's their dream. And they're close. Where most important things are efficiency and profit and control. Don't forget, control is really the main one they want. Control. In the Hatchery, they have the principal community, sameness, permanence, right? Stability, control. But there's no possibility of development. That's right. There's no possibility of development in it. The children, the humans have no chance to grow or become something new or different. No chance to be creative. No chance to be spiritual. None of that is possible. It's terrible. There's only technical progress. The human soul cannot evolve. That's right. That's what they want. Yep. Okay. Nice. Let's see. Marcian with a nice comment. One of the sickest methods of mind control, it's difficult to notice, is when certain symbols or statements are flashed on TV very quickly, like less than half a second. It's because the conscious mind doesn't catch the picture, can't catch the picture, if it's on the screen for less than 0.04 seconds. But your subconscious mind catches it and stores it. This statement that you saw can appear in your mind as a conscious thought at any time. Subconscious just waits for something to trigger this thought into your conscious. You're not even aware of this. This information was put into your mind subliminally, kind of secretly. It's not even your own thought. Yes, exactly. Another danger of TV and movies. Well, that's right. Bakir says it's the same idea as Napoleon, the pig, taking control of the children at a young age. Remember Napoleon, what did he do? The pig, remember Animal Farm. He took the children, which children? The puppies, the dogs, right? The dogs had babies. Napoleon took them when they were babies, and he raised them himself. So, of course, what did he do? He raised them, he programmed them to be his attack dogs. So they grew up, then he had them as his power, his attack dogs. And now all the other animals were too afraid. They were too powerless. You remember, like the Cultural Revolution in China, they used children against their own parents. They used the children against everybody in society. They made the children into spies. Terrible, terrible evil. Yeah, Sunni is right. Sunni is right. I'm not Sunni or Sunni. They take pride in being slaves. That's right. The people who are programmed, they're the most programmed, they are actually proud of their slavery. They will defend it. They will talk about how wonderful it is. Like anybody who watches lots of reality TV, they're always looking at their phone when they're walking around outside. They're totally programmed. They can't think. They believe everything on the news, 100%. They think CNN and the BBC are true, and they will be very proud of it. It's sad. It is sad. And Joseph is saying, how do you convince a slave he is a slave? Right? This is, again, like the movie The Matrix. This is Neo's problem. How do you convince these slaves to wake up, to get the red pill? And Morpheus says in that movie, most people are not ready. I think that's a good message. It's the true message. I don't know if it's good. It's not good. But it's the true message. Most people aren't ready. As I said, though, it doesn't matter. We don't need everybody. We need about 20, 25% to wake up and fight back. Then we can win. The rest will follow. The rest do what they're told. That's just the sad truth, because they are slaves. They don't want to wake up. They don't want to be free. You can't make someone do it. Yeah, Ahmed says, it's obviously observed and getting worse very fast. Very fast indeed. It's getting worse. They're speeding up all of this. Yeah, so here's some programming in Vietnam. There was a TV program in my country. It's all lies. TV's lies. Talking about the situation named homeschooling. What made me triggered was they considered homeschooling as sorrowful and stupid stuff. Of course, they hate it. They don't like families. They don't like homeschooling. They don't like any group or of people to think freely. They want, Vietnam's communist. They want total control over everything. So they don't want homeschooling. They want you in your little communist school learning that communism's so wonderful. Yay. Right? It's programming. Programming. Are there any good people on the top that can change the world? I don't know. We can't wait for them. We have to just wake up ourselves. I don't know if there's anyone on top who's good. I don't know. Right, Glauber. Dr. Bruce Lipton explains that when watching television, we enter the delta state. It's kind of a brain state, which is ideal for subconscious programming. Yep, the TV is a programming device. That's what it is. That's its only function. Everything, even comedies, it doesn't matter. It's programming you. It's social programming. All of it. Oh, Tata is perfectly true about this. It's frustrating that this book is easy to buy nowadays. It means the evil elite did its job well and developed a perfect generation of slaves who don't care about such red-pilled books. Right, see, this is the difference between Brave New World and Orwell, Animal Farm. In Animal Farm in 1984, but especially Animal Farm, Napoleon has to use force. He kills a lot of people, a lot of animals. Right? He has to use violence, quite a lot of it. But in Brave New World, it's not even necessary. They can even just let these books be available because most people are slaves. They won't even read it. If they read it, they won't even understand it. The programming is so good. It starts so early. Most people have no chance. It's true. It is. You're right. So in a way, we have freedom, but the program, it's a mental prison, exactly like the Matrix again, a prison for your mind. Gloria, you're talking about a topic that just affected me. I have a question. What do you think about parents that teach their kids like they deserve everything? They don't respect anyone. They're rude to their teachers. Well, they're bad parents. What can I say? There's still bad parents out there. But you're describing they're not homeschooling, honestly, right? Because if you say they're rude to their teachers, this is the problem because they're raising spoiled children. They're not teaching their own kids. If they homeschooled, they wouldn't do this probably. They couldn't because if they're homeschooled, then they are the teachers. The parents are the teachers. Probably they don't want the kids being rude to them. Now, some parents let children be rude to them. There are bad parents in the world, sure. But quite honestly, it's not my problem. I will homeschool my children for sure. And I encourage everyone to do that. Do it, do it, do it. And yes, you need, as a parent, you have to have discipline and rules and teach values and virtues and teach them to be strong, teach them to be disciplined, teach them to think, teach them to make decisions. All right, I might have to go in a minute because I do have babies, but good comments, really deep questions and comments. Very nice. Yeah, like Carlos is saying, we should leave our cell phones and the internet and read books from time to time. Stimulate critical thinking. Yes, read more books. Read more old books. Read more old books. This is a great way to red pill. It's a great way to break the conditioning. Turn off the phone, turn off the internet, read old books. That's a simple way. Whoa, Alexi with a huge one. Okay, turns out to change this situation, all our efforts should be designed for to making birth at home education, simplify our life as much as possible by eliminating devices because it's total control from big daddies. I realize why Steve Jobs and other people wanted their children not to use phones at all. Yeah, isn't that interesting? The iPhone guy, Steve Jobs, did not want his own children to use it. I've noticed from my experience when I bought the smartphone, my attention, my memory got worse. Yeah, they're the stupid phone, really. I became addicted to phones. In almost every question, I have to turn to the phone to get an answer. I was able to memorize all the street names, but now I only use Google Maps. The most awful thing is you kind of understand it's evil, but you keep doing it, even though it's harmful. Yeah, you're right, Alexi. You're describing exactly everything. We're all dealing with this. All of us. It's not just you, of course. All of us are dealing with this. And yeah, I think you take back control at the family level. I think it starts at the family level. Homeschooling and building a strong family and raising children in a healthy, natural way with the parents' values, not the controllers. Bakir's asking why. Why are they trying to destroy the culture? Control. They are control freaks. They dream of control. It makes them feel strong and powerful. That's why. Ego. I mean, these are not nice people. These are sick, mentally ill people, but that's who our rulers are. All right. Let's see. We just kind of go through and see if there's anyone else. All right. Interesting. Hamza says, Hi, Jay. I'm from Jordan. I have a pessimistic point of view. The burdens of life increase day after day. Most people have their nature and start focusing on material things instead of relationships. They think that they're in the right way, but intelligent people learn from others' mistakes. They don't, instead of waiting to fall in troubles and learn from it. The cost will be higher, especially human relationships. Well, right. This is what the materialistic buy, more. Because if you are stressed out, constantly trying to make more money, spend more money, buy more things, bigger houses, never ending, your life becomes more complicated. Your life becomes more stressful, more difficult. Then you don't think about the conditioning. You don't think about the programming. Don't become free. You're a slave. You're a wage slave. Just working to buy more stuff. And your life becomes more complicated and stressed. So then people say, right? Oh, I don't have time to homeschool my children because we have to work 2 jobs and pay all these bills. I don't have the time or the money to just sit around and read books all the time. My life is too busy and too stressful. I don't have time to eat healthy food. Right? Of course they do, but they're slaves and they don't even realize it. They could live much more simply, but they don't. They're programmed to buy, more. Oh, Anand, an update about my fasting. Change of topic? Sure, I'll give you. I just finished another 2-day fast. So I've done, I did a 3-day, 1 meal, a 2-day, 1 meal, a 1-day, a meal, and now a 2-day. And just ate. And now I'll do another 2-day. So I'm losing weight still, slowing down a little bit. The weight loss, the speed is slowing down a little. That's natural. I'm getting thinner. But still feeling great. Fasting feels good. Losing weight. I will continue. Right. Carol, nice point. Conditioning before birth is already a reality. Blue-pilled parents can't teach their children to be red-pilled. Indeed. If you condition the parents completely, the parents will then do the job for the world controllers. The parents will then condition their own children, not even realizing they're doing it. Good point. Right, Jonathan again. For homeschooling, some parents it's hard to do because they're busier in life. Just talked about this. But the truth is they don't take responsibility at all, and that is the main problem. That's right. Slavika says, but Big Brother isn't God. I'm optimistic. Yes, indeed. Good for you. God, family, your people, tradition, old books, that homeschooling, unplug from the programming. These are the things that will give us power to go against them. They're powerful. We know that. But they're not all powerful. Rifle says, yes, they are psychopaths and sociopaths. It's correct. People who they don't care about other people's pain. Yeah, Cliffy says, I remember a nice phrase from Mr. Acharyaji. I am awake. This is the red pill to be free. It is. To awaken. All right, guys, I think I need to go. Time for me to go. I got to go take care of babies again. I know it's a little short. This is a bit, such an interesting book, deep, and rather dark topics, but important. You can see why it's important because he's showing what's happened to us, by knowing what's happened, we wake up. The red pill is the first step. And then, as many of you have asked already, then we can begin to think, how do we break free? How do we free ourselves? And then how do we free others? Just like Neo in the Matrix, first he had to wake up, and it was terrible and painful because he woke up in an ugly, ugly world. But then finally he realized, he understood, then he fought back, right? He and Morpheus and their guys, and then they fought back to make people free. And that's the next step. But the first step is you have to see the terrible, ugly truth. You have to understand the enemy. You have to understand the enemy, how they are controlling us. You have to understand their power. They are powerful, super powerful. So we have to understand them, and this is helpful to really understand what their goals are, who they are, and what they are doing. That's the first important step. Then we can find solutions after that. All right, well, look, we'll continue talking about these topics, okay? Because through the whole book, we will see these ideas and others coming up in each chapter. So just chapter 1, that's a lot. We just talked about quite some big, heavy topics in just the first chapter, and this will continue with each chapter. So lots of love to you. Thank you all for your very interesting comments and questions, very thoughtful. Keep thinking about it, and we'll have maybe next week I'll have babies that are asleep more, and we can go a little longer next time. But a nice introduction to Brave New World, Chapter 1. Thanks again. As always, join my VIP program at effortlessenglishclub.com. effortlessenglishclub.com. Commit, don't quit. Lots of love to you. Mwah. Bye for now.